3 pound greater.
We talked about fathers. Fathers don't get as much reverence as a mother. So, do y'all feel though that the black father?
You want me to say
So,
it?
I read it.
yeah. Do y'all feel that the black father, as a whole, societally, so we're talking about the mass of society, looks down upon the black father?
Ooh,
I'm
I
sorry.
do,
And
but I
Woodrow and
think
Finn be thinking about this. Somebody asked y'all this question too.
I do, but I think it's the architecture is built by the media establishment. I think movies and like TV, like actually TV is pretty good on fathers, but I think movies and
Now.
news and just general the way stats are presented, I think it would be hard. It's not hard. I think they do a good job of depicting us as absent.
Black fathers.
Black fathers specifically. And I do know for sure, like Steve said a second ago, I know the minority should never prove the rule, but I know for random, the guys that I know in our group chat are 9 different dudes who met on a whim at a bar at random times, and not a one is a
Met their
deadbeat.
significant others randomly at a bar too.
All of us met our girls at the same bar, but the gist of it is, I think there are pockets where that exists, because I can't even tell you on Facebook any guys that I know through like acquaintance
Right.
that also fit the Debbie. Granted, I probably wouldn't know, but for the most part, I see the dudes on their page with their dad. One of my favorite things to join in on is the when you see the social media post or the meme or the whatever, where it's like dads show the picture of you with your kids and shit, and the dads just start flooding it. We out here. And maybe that was an architecture of the dads before us.
Right.
But us, this generation, we out here. And the media may depict it as not, because that's cool to be like, your dad's in jail, your dad's gone, but we here.
And actually, to piggyback off that, I'm glad you made that point, because it is true. Like, I really do understand the fathers. Me personally, I really understand the fathers of the '80s. Like, it worked on a lot of black men. It worked. The Reagan era worked. Let's put drugs in the neighborhood. Let's arrest them. Let's get them hooked on drugs. I know it sounds like an excuse, but it's not like I was there.
The
so
jail
I can fully
numbers,
understand
the jail numbers
it
back you up.
fucking worked. They're designed to lock black men up, get them hooked on drugs, and then eventually, hopefully, kill themselves. Jail the second best, third completely out of the household for the black
workforce.
men.
Out of the workforce is the bigger one. Is the biggest one to me.
Or out of the work.
Those are
I
4
think
levels.
death-
That's 4 levels.
Death is probably the biggest. But
Well,
I don't-
obviously,
course.
death is the biggest.
But stepping down from death like you were
But
doing,
it's like-
workforce is the second.
like, great, it worked. I'm sorry, but it worked. And if your pops happen to fall under that shit, can you really fault them? If some shit was designed for you, the whole carrot chasing the rabbit, put the box up with the stick, and then put the carrot right there and then trap the rabbit.
Right.
It worked on these niggas. It worked.
Yeah.
I'm a son.
Can y'all answer
the
that
government
question?
just smarter.
Or if y'all willing to, do y'all want to go there?
Answer
What?
The question you just asked.
What?
Could you blame them if the system that was designed against them worked?
Oh no, I don't. That's why I say I get it. Like, I fully get it. You just fell for the trap.
Yeah,
fell for it.
It's blame is a funny word, because I can blame you for smacking me in the face, but if I, called you a bad name or something that was said something bad
that's
about
my
your
reaction.
mama, that's your reaction,
Yeah.
right? So blame is a funny word. Like, can we blame the black fathers that were subjected to basically the intentional onslaught on the black community in the 80s and the 70s? Blame, can't really blame. Everybody has free will. Everybody has the intelligence and the ability to not do something. But when the actual situation is systematically set up to draw you in, what can you do? Actually, I'm gonna bring in our guests. I'm gonna flip them around here. I'm gonna start with Finn. Introduce yourself, please, and tell us about you.
Hey, how we doing, y'all? I
Hey,
appreciate
man, how you
y'all.
doing?
Appreciate y'all having me.
Welcome
Can
to
y'all
the
hear me?
podcast. We
Yes,
can hear
sir.
you just good. Yep.
Okay, cool. As Claude said, my name is Fen. Social media handles at Fen_Richards. Like he said, I'm an actor, but most importantly, I am a father, and that is the most important role that I do play.
Yeah, my name is Woodrow Samuel II. People that know me well call me Woody. You all are welcome to call me Woody. I am a husband first. I'm a father second. I'm a father of 3. So I was listening very intently to this conversation, heard some great things and heard some things that I was talking into the mic as I was already a part of the conversation, but I heard some things that really got my attention. But as far as trade, I am an educator and I'm a motivational teacher.
So, same question for you guys, and I'm gonna start with you, Woody. Then we'll go to you, Finn. Do you think society as a whole is a bit hard on the black father or black fatherhood in general?
1,000%. Absolutely, and I don't, and it's not a matter of. Let me be very clear. I don't subscribe to the whole so and so is holding me down. I can't. I remember when Trump was running for president, and Trump was probably one of the most polarizing presidents we've had in a very long time. I didn't care, because my thing is I care in the sense that I care about what he brings to the table, and we all know what we were dealing with him. But I didn't care in the sense that he doesn't stop my hustle, right? So the bottom line is you got to go get it. But yes, absolutely it is. And listen, as I was listening to you all talk about the media piece, I'm going to give you all a homework assignment. Go back to any movie from the 1970s and the 1980s and just look at the role of black men in those movies. And I mean, I'm dead real. If you pull the first Superman, the lone black man, and I'm not talking about Richard Pryor, that was like Superman 3. If you go to the first Superman, the lone black man and the lone black woman in the first Superman is a pimp and his two hoes. And it's a quick scene too. They don't even get any real camera time.
What was
they
that,
show
1978?
Superman, 1978, 77.
Yeah.
They show Superman flying off, and he says something speaking like some jive, basically. Yeah. And then the black woman in her whole gear looks up and says something too. That's the image, fellas. And again, I'm not here about the excuses. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 3. I'm doing my thing. I've been doing it for a long time. My kids are doing just fine. But to say that it's not a real thing, you're either living under a rock or you're just refusing to acknowledge what's really going on.
Fan, give us your take on that. Same question. Is society as a whole hard on black fathers and black fatherhood?
Absolutely. And I think almost unnecessarily, because I think that as a whole, we as a society are holding on to like this, this stigma, this perception that is not necessarily the case anymore. And as y'all had mentioned earlier, there are deadbeat fathers by choice, and then we'll call them absent fathers based on circumstance. And one of the examples that came to mind was The Last OG. I don't know if any of you guys have seen The Last OG with Tracy Morgan. This is a man who went to prison before he even knew that he had kids. So he gets out 15 years later, and he's doing anything and everything that he can to put himself in the best position possible to be in his kids' lives, to be a role model, to be a supportive figure. And I think that is, that's the type of representation. I mean, not necessarily that circumstance, but the active fathers, the supportive fathers that are more prevalent than the absent fathers, that I think we definitely need to see portrayed more often.
So I want to talk about perception, because that's something that, Mike, you actually brought up perception, and I because we talked a little bit about this last week on our last episode. We were talking about black media and that things of that nature. Have the perceptions actually changed, or have they just developed into some other kind of bullshit?
Oh, it's always some other kind of bullshit. Yeah, they're gonna give us. They'll be like, oh, okay, you guys are good here, but here's another way y'all are failing us, or whatever. Now it's all of us are sports players. Like he said, there was the pimps and hoes in the 70s. In the 80s, it was probably just totally absent or on drugs or some kind of thug. 90s, 2000s, whatever. It always graduates into a new thing.
Yeah.
And right now, if I had to guess, there's a lot of shows by us that depict us in positive lights. Like we talked about Blackish and a few other current shows that are actively cooking. I think the other side has a vested interest. Like we're either the butt of the joke or the cause of the problem. And I think, I don't know what the numbers is in terms of is it even or more against us, but it exists.
Steve?
And if you don't know, and you just see a black man on TV and you go, oh yeah. Well, we're all rappers now. That's what it is.
If you stack it up, one right on top of the other, and again, I'm not making excuses. I'm just giving you what's out there. If you stack it up, what exactly? If you stack it up one right on top of the other, at some point, I'm gonna run out of positive images of black men. And while those negative images are going to keep on going, and here's the other problem, fellas, we do it to ourselves. A lot of these young rappers that our kids love got 7 and 8 kids from 3 and 4 and 5 baby mamas.
Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about deadbeat dads. Listen, somebody's missing out. I have this conversation with my wife all the time. When you got 5 and 6 and 7, 8 kids, 3, 4, 5, and listen, you do what you do, whomever you are. But if that's your scenario, somebody's missing out. You can't spread yourself around enough to be there. So now you got a situation where maybe you wouldn't be a deadbeat, but you ain't got no choice.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that the word that comes to mind is personal responsibility. If your child is your responsibility. And you guys were talking earlier about if you're covering child support, is that enough to be not considered a deadbeat? And barring whether you're in jail or Mike had given a couple examples, working in the military, things like that, obligations that take you away from your kids versus you making the option or making the choice to not be, well, I sent my check this month, so I'm good. There is so much more value outside of your financial obligations as a parent, as a father. And you guys were mentioning earlier the nurturing aspect of a mother, but then you also have to look at the role that the father plays in the child's life.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
and being able to provide that alternative perspective. Because as a parent, like y'all are as parents, you guys operate as a team, as a unit. You know what I mean? And the husband, or the husband compensates for the wife's, essentially where she's lacking, and vice versa, right? Because we each, as men, we have strengths that women don't have, and vice versa, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it is vital for a father to be present for a child to have the best balance of both worlds.
We Pound Grader.